Hello and welcome. I'm Tina Marie St. Cyr, and this is the Leading with Authentic Feminine Energy mini course. So thank you for being here, and I can't wait for us to have this time together. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and let's get started. So first, we want to start with why are we here? Maybe you read the description and it called to you. Maybe someone gave you some advice to, hey, go dive into this course. Maybe you're working with one of our bonfire coaches and they gave this to you for homework. And so why we would be here are we are a feminine leader, a female leader, and there's parts of our lives and our leadership where we feel like we are out of alignment, where we're pushing too hard and maybe forcing either the conversation or the workload or the project. And we feel like we're not in our authenticity. So if that is how you feel, you're in the right place. What we're going to learn today together is how to identify what is my authentic leadership style? What are the differences between a feminine leadership style and a masculine leadership style? And then is there a blend of both? And how do I know which one is needed at what time and with which members of my teams? What are the signs that I am truly out of balance so that I can raise my hand and say, yes, this is me right now? And then what do I do to realign myself and get myself back in state of my authentic leadership style? We're going to be going through all of that. Plus, at the end, there's this amazing journaling exercise that you can sit with a cup of tea on the couch and snuggle up and do some writing on your own. So I want to make sure that you know that at the end, there are resources where you can download the workbook if you don't already have it right in front of you. And that there's other next level courses that you can also take through Bonfire Coaching to become an amazing either business owner, solopreneur, career executive, professional, or simply a great person leading your friends, family, and of course, we lead ourselves, right? So, a little bit about me. Who is this person sitting in front of you, and why should you listen to me? So, I am the founder of Bonfire Coaching and the Bonfire Coaching Academy. Now, that happened roughly 15 years ago. And before then, I rose to corporate executive status. And then I branched out and I had my own consulting firm. And so many years, oil of Olay, for those that understand that, you'll know that I'm part of the Gen X community. And so I've been in business, I've been in corporate a long, beautiful time. And what I've seen over the years are people struggle with being their authentic self. And we sit at board tables, we sit in team meetings, we sit in our project planning meetings, and we think we have to be a certain way. So what I'd love to have us both dive into today through this course is, what are those feeling centers that have us know we're out of alignment? And what do we do to course correct in the moment? Because very few times, whenever we're with our teams or we're getting work done, even with our clients, we can't just go sit on top of a mountain, which would be nice. And we can't just go straight into meditation and kumbaya moments whenever we're feeling out of sorts. So I want to tool you with ways that you can bring yourself back into alignment in the moment and understand your authentic style. So that's how you can lead, right? A little bit more about me. I did the math late last year, and with the businesses that I have had and still have, we've been gracious to earn and to serve at the level of 32 million thereabouts. We'll probably cross 33 million here before June. And I do find myself as an expert in female leadership. I've been called to many of the world stages to stand in front of female leaders and executives and even men. It's kind of funny when the men crash the room. They want to know, I mean, the men specifically want to know, how do I work with my female leaders and how do I not squish their natural tendencies and abilities by me just being, masculine? And then we also want to know, how do we integrate. Of course, we want to work together very well, but this course is about you, the female leader. I also get invited to the tables with mergers and acquisitions, understanding how do we combine teams, how do we right source the right people for the right roles, also understanding how to reward people and their inherent core value styles. I love these type of conversations and strategies and bringing everybody on board to have them understand how they bring their puzzle piece into the corporation or into the team most effectively. And then they keep themselves impassioned and engaged in their role, which you probably know sometimes can be a struggle if you're a leader. And then I also consider myself a forever student. I'm always learning. I love learning and have multiple degrees in international business and corporate leadership and nutrition. That's another story for another day. I had to heal myself from diseases, and I figured out the best way to do that is to go get the information myself. Also, I understand communications at a very deep level in the human aspects of psychology. And from that, I lead the podcast, Ignite Your Leadership and Light Your Life. That's for individuals, of course, the leadership podcast for leaders. And I've written some books. So High Sexy and Other Messages from the Mirror is a novel that I wrote. It's always fun. Sacred Cord Clearing is a tool set to understand how to clean the energies that we have. It is a little bit woo-woo, but people love it. Even the executives I coach are like, wow, that stuff works. And also how to find your true love, which is a fun thing that whenever we find love in our life and we are in love, then life takes a greater sheen. And I'm also a mom, a daughter, a sister, a wife, and a grandmother of two. And our little grandson, we have one that's just over a month old, and he's just so brand new and so amazing. So the first thing we want to dive into, and whenever you're in your workbook, you're going to get to module 1 here. And in module 1, what we want to really pull through is what are the different leadership styles, and we call them polarities. And so you could understand the yin and yang of things, right? And I know we live in a beautiful world where we have our own self-identification of what is my pronoun or how do I want to be termed in our sexuality. And this is not sexuality. I want to preface that this is not about our sexuality. Each one of us have both of these polarities inside of us all the time. And so we are both feminine and masculine, and we're going to lead with one, which is our most authentic style. Now, a little bit about me. I am married to a female, a woman. Her name is Jackie. And so if you ever find us on social media, you get to see Jackie and I enjoying the adventures of life together, which is always fun. We've been married 12 years, going on 13 years together. And what I know about Jackie is that she's also a feminine leader, but her masculine energy is something that resonates with people and creates a different level of safety, certainty, and a rock solidness that is unique to her. So each one of us, no matter if we are biologically female, we can have these energies. And which one of these energies feel like our authentic leadership style? Because when we self-lead, and you're going to get to understand when we're out of balance where we need to go back to self-leadership, right? And then whenever we lead others, whenever we are in our authentic style, things just flow. They become amazing. They go very well. It's when those magical moments happen whenever doors open or the phone rings, you're like, oh my God, I was just thinking about you. Or you think of the primary clients that you would love to serve, your top 10 list of clients you'd love to have on your business CV. And then the clients find you, or you're out networking and you happen to run into the CEO of your top client that you'd love to have as an opportunity for your business. This type of stuff happens effortlessly when we are leading from our authentic style. And that's what we want to do today. Isn't this fun? Are you having fun so far? I know I am. And so the difference between the yin and the yang is that the yang yang energy will be more direct. It'll definitely be more decisive and assertive and authoritative. It can come across as authoritative, and it wants to dive into the problem and fix things. So imagine tools and wrenches and that kind of stuff. And you got your tool belt and you're going to go in. And so if there's a problem in the accounting system and we can't trust our P&L reports, we're going to go in and find out, well, what system, who are the inputs, what are we doing here, and understand that kind of approach. And then we've got the feminine energy, and the feminine energy, absolutely beautiful, but that energy is going to come more from the inside, the intuition, the other than known, not in front of us of our five senses, but what can we intuit? What can we also reach to? It's going to become more collaborative, wanting other people's opinions and inputs, not saying that everybody has to be happy at the end of a meeting, but to create that container that people feel welcome to the conversation. And the feminine energy is also going to know when people aren't coming to the conversation and invite them in and create a safe space where they feel that they can be seen, valued, and heard. The yin energy is also very adaptive. So it negotiates because it understands the winding road of things that get us to our mountaintop versus the masculine energy just wanting to dive bomb straight in. Okay. And so the feminine energy leads with inspiration, not force or even motivation, because motivation and inspiration, two separate energies, right? So let's help you identify your authentic leadership style. So ask yourself, do I feel more powerful when I just take action and make fast decisions? That's some people, definitely. Or another sub question here is, and if you look in your workbook, there's a lot on this. Do I find I go in with guns a-blazing and wanting to make the decisions, but then later possibly regret some of that energy that I didn't listen long enough, ask the right questions, invite the right people to the table, or still myself long enough to listen to my intuition about it? And so the other question we have here on this slide is, do I feel more empowered when I collaborate, when I nurture, and when I trust others and trust my intuition or my gut feelings, right? This is how we know. Do I most authentically come from my feminine energy, or do I most authentically come from a masculine energy? And let's continue through the course, and there's more journaling through this as well to help you know it, even if you don't know it right now, like, not really sure. Different circumstances, different people. Maybe I'm both. You're in the right place. We're going to keep going. So how a feminine leader knows that she's leading with her feminine energy, and this is where I get a lot of my clients. I can sit with them at my table and in my coaching containers, and I can hear them tell these painful stories of their life where they don't trust their teams, or I gave them everything they needed to succeed and they still didn't follow through. And so I had to spend the weekend and do it myself. Where they would say that, I don't know, I need them to prove themselves to me first before I give them anything of importance. Or they'll say things like, I've done that in the past and it didn't work out, so I'm just going to do it this way. But they know that inside there's pain in their approach. So I made this table to help us understand more clearly when we're coming from our feminine, our natural feminine. For those people that are in the natural feminine, they even know whenever you ask yourself, am I being more masculine or am I being more feminine? You know, the inside of you knows, right? You do. And being feminine does not, I could have said this 3 slides ago. Being a feminine leader does not mean that you're wearing dresses, florals, heels, batting your eyelashes, making sure that you're all made up and your do is good. It does not mean that you have flowers in your office. I love flowers. And I feel more connected to nature and myself when I have my flowers around. But you're going to find your own authentic expression of your feminine energy. So what feminine energy is not. It is not weak or passive, ladies. Oh, no. It's actually the strongest of the energies, which is really beautiful to know, to settle into, and to welcome, right? The feminine energy is not overly emotional or irrational, despite some judgments from certain people in our life at times. Yeah. It's also not indecisive or uncertain. Whenever we're indecisive or uncertain, we're coming from a different emotional state. We typically need more data before we can answer that. And sometimes our data needs to come from inside of us, that intuitive data source versus that external data source of numbers or people's opinions or what other people have done in this scenario. Feminine energy is also not needy or dependent. Nope, we let go of that a long time ago. You can support yourself. We can make our own money. We can defend ourselves as well. And so it's not needy in that way. It's not manipulative or controlling, despite maybe we're having a bad day sometimes. Whenever we get to manipulative or controlling, again, we've lost trust. We've lost trust in others. We've lost trust in ourselves. And we've disengaged from our true feminine nature. We're going to be fixing that today. It is not people pleasing. It is definitely not self-sacrificing. That is definitely off course for the feminine energy. It's not over accommodating or submissive. We do no longer need to be submissive. And it's not seeking that validation outside of ourselves to make sure we're okay. It's not fearful of asserting herself. And definitely it's not rigid or forceful, right? Or strong in those word choices that we can feel inside of ourselves. We might have regret if we express ourselves in that way. And it's not hustling so much that we burn ourselves out. That is not the feminine energy. In fact, the feminine energy creates more effortlessly, more fluidly, and more beautifully whenever she is in their natural state. And whenever we're in that state, things just happen. And it's definitely not distrusting of the gut feeling or the intuition. It goes to the other side of that, which we're about to describe. So the embodiment of feminine energy is power and presence and influence. I mean, just think about it. Have you been around a powerful woman that just seems to know who she is, why she is, and what she brings? And she trusts it. She leads with it. She walks into the room, and even though she may not say anything, when she walks in the room, you notice, you feel it. And there's a calm about it and a safety. Now, if ever you felt conflictual or competitive toward that, or as though that energy intimidates you, our own intimidation is our side of that fence. And that means that somewhere inside of me or us, that we are not in alignment with our energy. Because a strong feminine leader that is in her presence, in the presence of another strong feminine leader, will see and know and recognize, value, respect, and trust one another. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. Embodying female energy is being deeply intuitive and giving ourselves that stillness, that time, that space to be in our intuition, pausing the outside world enough to say, hold on, let me think through this. Let me feel through this. Let me intuit this. Give me a moment. And asking for that space, not in disrespect, but in love for all the unseen that's also partnered with us. The feminine energy is open to taking that trust of her inner wisdom and being co-creative with others, not thinking she has to bow down or be less than or give too much of a container or a space or a stage to others and fear that somewhere she'll become unseen. Everyone has a part in the play of a feminine leader's discussion and project and outcome. Also, she is giving of others, and she is open to expressing her needs, not without hinting or blame or ridicule or hope, but simply because this is what she says I want, and this is what I need, and this is how you can help and contribute. And she also allows that help to come to her, and she receives help and partnership. She's very trusting of the wisdom from her body and her heart first, before the trusting of the conversation from her mind. Fun? Okay, module 4. This is signs that you're out of balance. We need to know these things, right? And so if any of these signs that you're out of balance hit home for you and you're saying, ouch, Tina Marie, do you really need a poke on that? We need to know when we're out of balance, so we stop doing whatever we've been doing to get ourselves out of balance, and we course correct. And inherently, we know inside what we need to do. Sometimes we need that reminder and a little knock upside the head to remind us what to do. I know I do. Heck, sometimes it's not the pebble, it's not the brick, it's not the piece of the sidewalk, it's a piece of entire freeway that has to drop on my head to get my attention that I'm out of balance. Oftentimes it's burnout. So if we ever feel burnout, exhausted, and definitely disconnected from ourselves, if we're getting sick, we're out of balance with our feminine energy. And if we find ourselves difficult either asking for help or accepting help and receiving it, we're out of balance. Needing to control everything, like if you become that micromanager, that means that somewhere you've lost trust. And we need to have courageous conversations to restore that trust, right? Instead of trying to nitpick and control it all, because that's exhausting. It is so exhausting. If we are finding ourselves in strained relationships, or if somebody calls and we don't want to answer it, or if they're texting, we're going, oh God, not again. If we're forward projecting pain in any conversations in a relationship, that is a sign that you're out of balance with your feminine, your authentic feminine energy. And if we're lacking any emotional connection to something that we used to feel emotionally connected to, and we wonder, where'd all the passion go? Where'd the spark go? That's another sign. If you're overusing your feminine energy, that means you have difficulty keeping boundaries, making boundaries. You'd feel unseen, unheard, unvalued, just stuck, very uncertain. Or if we're over accommodating, making sure everybody is okay and not us first, and we feel like that we're a doormat, or we're just lacking clear direction in our life, we are out of touch with our feminine energy. So how do we rebalance? To rebalance, one, I want to point out that inside of your workbook that came along with this course, there's an amazing resource on all of these things that are beautiful and delicious for you and your spirit. But in a short form here for this course, we need to shift from hustle to magnetism. We need to stop doing the do, the checklist, and check in with what would I love? So write that on your notes. What would I love? How would I love to be? How would I love to connect? And instead of chasing the opportunities, open your door to your heart and your soul for them to come to you. They will. Embrace your intuition. Like I said earlier, give yourself space. If we feel any of these things that feel so constrictive, that means that's on us to open up and to allow that stillness to become our flow again. And reach for trusted and valued support, not to ask for opinions of what you want to do with your life, but to find those beautiful, beloved friends and coaches that can be containers of mirrors for you. They're mirrors and the reflectors. They're not your answers. They're the ones that hold you to you and remind you who you are. So how long does it take to rebalance? For some people, it can take years, depending on how resistant they are to rebalancing, because sometimes we identify with our masculine so much because of maybe our upbringing, the type of work that we're in. I find this with female lawyers and doctors. I find this with female engineers a lot, especially if they're in construction or architecture. And so wherever we are, there could be an environment where we feel more safe being masculine than feminine. But that doesn't mean that masculine is not your energy source just because you're in the environment of it. So when we put in place our own self-awarenesses, our daily practices, get that support and mentorship, and we literally stop needing to be perfect and get it right and fearing getting it wrong, things will start to shift. So whenever we become these beautiful, courageous, flowing female leaders, what happens? We inspire instead of needing to control our teams. They come to us because they love being on our energy, not because they're trying to make sure they're the little sad puppy with their tail between their legs, making sure they don't get ridiculed. They just want to be among you because your leadership is so inspiring for them. And you give them little courses, little seeds of wisdom or seeds of direction, and they're like it's water on a sponge, and they go off and they implement. And they're so proud you're part of their circle. You connect before direct. You make sure that people feel safe, included, seen, valued, heard, wanted, before you just tell them what to do, like they're an object, a taskmaster doing your bidding. And you balance with intuition. So you allow the intuition, the space in between the logic, to also take form. So I want you to think of a female leader who, in your mind, embodies grace, confidence, and balance. And if you do not know them yet, there's an offer at the end of this wonderful presentation to join us so you can be among other very strong female leaders. And I know here, the network that brought you here is a very strong source of female leadership. So lean in, connect, have courage, and know that everyone brings their own nuance and their uniqueness. There is no competition among us. There's only love. The benefits that'll happen in your life across the board. You're going to be a person of more influence, confidence, and success. I guarantee it. More prosperity comes, abundance, joy, happiness, love, fun, playfulness, dance, music, art. That's who you are. That's what you'd love. And so whenever we seek and take action to balance and make that promise to ourselves, all of life vows to you. It wants you to be happy, wants us to be happy. The feminine energy is the stronger of the energies. And whenever we are out of balance, the world is out of balance. So now is the time for us to come together, do our own individual work, but understand that the world is hungry for nurturing and love. And that's what we bring. So in your workbook, there's beautiful questions that should stimulate your inner workings and bring this aliveness and wonder back into your life. That's my hope and want for you. Here are a few of the questions that you could find in that journaling section. And some of them go deep. They're meant to, because change isn't always easy. But I also know that chaos is what creates creativity. It brings birth. And so we must go into the chaos of our own unknowing to bring light and knowing to ourselves to become that next better version. And so dive into the workbook, and above all other things, have fun. I want you to commit to honoring your natural energies of leadership in your relationships and in your daily life. And I also want you to know that we get misaligned. It's not a problem. But when we're courageous and we let people know that, hey, I'm a little misaligned right now, then they know how to allow us to be, as opposed to try to fix us. And it's a beautiful dance whenever we own our authenticity and our energy and have the strategies to bring ourselves back into alignment on our own without being dependent on other people. They can help us create the containers, and they can help support us, and they can help value and understand and respect us. Yet it's our work to do, right? And so you were never meant to force your way through life. Quite the contrary. You're meant to flow and inspire and nurture and thrive and dance and have fun and smile and laugh and giggle and have hip bumps and high fives and just love this journey. And leaders do not need to be masculine. There'll be the time to take action and get stuff done. But the energy throughout that connection is uniquely you and uniquely feminine. So here are some downloads I have for you. And I want to make sure that you get these resources. I'm going to leave this little slide up for a little bit. So as a reminder, what we've done here today is, what is my natural, authentic leadership style? We dove into the feminine leadership style today. How do we know we're out of balance? What are those signs? What am I not doing? What do I need to be doing? How do I get rebalanced? How long does it take? And let me self-journal, self-diagnose, self-assess, and then own it. And so in this workbook, which is that first link, you get the full workbook and you get the guide. And so please gift yourself with that if you have not done so already. Feel free to share it with your other ladies. And then there's a bonus, and it's only here on this slide. So either take a screenshot of this or copy paste this wonderful link. I want you to get this as well. This is another download, which is how to increase your intuitive powers and your self-confidence. And oftentimes we get to a place in our life where we need this. And so in order to understand our intuitive powers, and there's some pretty deep magic in there of what your intuition truly is. And so it's my philosophies. I want you to have that. It's free. And then twice a year, I host my signature event. And that signature event is Abolish Your Inner Saboteur and Unleash Your Extraordinary. It's a lot of words. But we have you understand what you're letting go of. And we must understand how our inner saboteur keeps us small, weak, disgruntled, how it positions the world against us at times, how it has us feel like victims or maybe even martyrs, or after all I've done for you, for heaven's sakes, kind of conversations. And it also has us play the chameleon and we don't even know who we are authentically. So all of these different versions of the saboteur, once you understand how it works, where it works, what it's telling you, and how to unwind that, not just, we shift it, then your power's back in ways that I guarantee you've never felt before. I've worked with thousands of people and they're like, oh, whoa. And so what we do after we abolish the inner saboteur, which abolish means get rid of, and we do this, I guarantee it. Then what we do on the other side is that we help you unleash your extraordinary, because every single one of us is a genius, and it's not about academia, it's about consciousness. We are all geniuses, and we're all here to express ourselves in unique, amazing ways. And you have that in you. So if this calls to you in any way, just take that QR code, take a picture. You've probably already done that. It's going to take you to a landing page that explains what abolish is. All the team calls it abolish. We have an amazing staff of graduates that are on a leadership track. They also want to take these same tools and these same strategies into their coaching, into their leadership, into their professions, into their families. And so once you take abolish, you can come back for free as many times as you'd love, play on team, get it from a whole new perspective, really deepen your ownership of the tools and strategies and methodologies, and truly continue to keep breaking through, right? And so we have an upcoming abolish guaranteed near you, coming up probably in a couple months, because we do that twice a year. And I'd love to see you there. And that invitation can also take you to an intake. So if you still have questions like, I don't know which one to do, then just go to our website at bonfirecoaching.com and then we will connect. And we always offer a complimentary session so you can understand more of the tools, the strategies. We work with business owners, we work with executives, we work with career professionals, we work with teams. And our goal and mission is to share these tool sets with people so you live your passionate life and put all of your impact in a very fluid, beautiful way in the world. And so thank you so much for attending this wonderful micro course so that you can launch and ignite and embody your authentic feminine leadership style even more. I'm Tina Marie St. Cyr. It's been beautiful being with you. See you in the Facebook group. Reach out to me if you need anything. Consider me a friend, and have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye-bye for now.